Welcome to why your product isn't selling and how to fix it without more ads. We are here today to discuss what is stopping your sales when you have a strong product or service. I spent years analyzing how products actually get chosen, looking at hundreds of businesses, founders, and live market situations. I've seen the same patterns repeats again and again, and today I want to share the most effective insights and practical frameworks I use to diagnose your products and see why you are not selling enough, what drives growth by fixing what happens in the customer's mind before any conversion. Why you're here? Well, there are a few reasons why your business is not converting enough. You have a drop off on sales, or maybe you don't have momentum, or you are trying to escalate your business, but it's not enough. There are some friction, and I will help you with that. For example, you may have traffic, but sales remain inefficient, even though you have a strong product or service. You have real interest, there is also engagement. Either you use social media or you have another funnels, but there are not enough sales. Usually, as I said before, this is not related to traffic or a quality problem that you have. It's a decision problem, and this is coming from the buyer, the client, because you are not framing your offer with the right statements. Your brand identity is not formed properly, or the way that you present your products or service is not reflecting and resonates with what your buyers need and want. So with this training, I will help you with that. Another reason, and it's very common, customers buy once but don't return. And you keep asking yourself, why is this happening? You don't know why. And I will explain you a few reasons why you cannot retain customers. The most common pattern that I observe is that your brand identity is not strong enough for customers to keep going back to your store, to your website. Either you are B2B or B2C, you need to reframe your identity in a way that resonates with that customer. And then once that you create a brand, which actually is a community where customers want to belong with, it's where retain happens. But there are multiple factors here as well, but I will explain you the most common scenarios. Your product doesn't stand out in a crowded market. When everything looks similar, price becomes the only decision lever. What I mean with that is that in 21st century, as you already noticed, in any country, I'm based in the UK, for example, and here the market is extremely competitive. Not even mentioning you are based in the US, is even higher, the rates, yeah? So in that scenarios is where you need to make sure that your brand, your business offer a problem that can solve, making sure that you find the needs that your target has. Once that you find it, you are able to offer something to cover that market gap. Yeah. Of course, you need to use strong brands where your target can resonate with, but there are multiple elements here as well. It's very important because many founders try to play with the price war, and that's a very big problem because you keep changing prices, offering different packages, offer packages, where you miss the whole point. That's what you really need to offer, its value, no different price packages. Once that's because buyers buy what they get for. If they get for X value, they will buy Y. And that's how it works. It's a value exchange. They pay for something that they think that has enough value. And how you create value is through your brand service. Position yourself, your brand, as high value. Yeah. And another one is sales. You have sales, however, they are inconsistent and not scalable. When you have a business, you're trying to grow, but it seems that it's a bit weak. You're surviving, but you cannot predict or control growth. You think, oh, what is going on? Why they don't keep? Why I cannot keep a steady revenue on sales? Most product and service systems fail because of marketing campaigns or traffic or channels, but because your buyers don't feel ready to make a decision and buy your products. And this is a very big problem because you have an outstanding products, quality, customer service, it's awesome, excellent. The framing on your website is accurate. However, perhaps there are multiple elements here. Maybe you are using the wrong marketing funnel, or you are spending all on your marketing strategy. You are using everything, all your revenue, to invest in marketing campaigns, ads, either it's on social media, on Google, whatever is your strategy, and you're spending thousands every month trying to advertise a product. Because keeping in mind one thing, I always say this to everyone, to every single founder, to every single brand. Your brand, to start with, needs to be advertised in a way that people can see it every day. For example, have you not noticed when you walk and you pass by a store and you see windows, for example, a fashion brand, right? You pass by and you see the outfits, very nice, very good. However, you need to think this. You need to frame your business in that model, and not saying, "Oh, buy rent an office and run your business from that, and people will pass by and will find you." No, I'm saying that you need to take this example and try to position your brands in a visible way. That's why we use marketing ads, because we need to advertise our brands visible for others, for our clients. So that's what I'm saying. But you do not need ads. There are multiple ways to do that, to be in that windows. Ads is one way, but not the whole cake. It's one piece of that cake. And where you invest 90% of your marketing strategy on ads, you should invest less than that. Invest in another funnels, in another platforms to advertise your products. Yeah. Anyway, my masterclass is not about sales, it's about marketing strategy, product strategy. And I'm here to fix that friction that your consumers find all the time when they come out with your product or service. Yeah. Before going further, I just want to do a quick reality check with you. Marketing is hard. Most teams misuse it. As I said before, there is no universal formula that works for every single one. every single founder. This training shares what I personally done. I've seen work across many companies. Of course, results depend on your markets, execution, and context where you are based. And if your business is online, you have an advantage because you will be able to be found by your customer everywhere, worldwide. What I promise is I will do my best. I will so with this masterclass you will end up understanding why your products or service isn't converting. Even with traffic and interest, you have engagement, you have users coming to your websites, interacting with you, customer service, but your product is not strong enough, or your marketing strategy is not strong enough, and there is friction and sales are very low. I will also teach you how to identify what's blocking trust for customers to make a decision and invest in you, in your service, or in your products, buy your products. Of course, very important, you will stop wasting time, energy, money on tactics that don't address the real problem. And lastly, I will introduce you with a real roadmap to fix sales before spending on more marketing ads, campaigns. By the end of this session, you won't need more ideas, as you probably spend months and months trying to implement new strategies, trying to innovate on your tactics. You will know exactly why customers delay or disappear, and also, of course, what to fix first before you invest another pound or dollar in marketing. Then what if the answer to your biggest growth challenge isn't another marketing campaign? As I explained before, it's how your product or service is perceived, believed, and chosen. Most teams respond to slow growth by launching another campaign, but the underlying perception is wrong. You are just amplifying the problem. This is pure consumer psychology. That's what I do. It's part of behavioral science. There are multiple cognitive bias, behavioral bias. Once that you understand what it's the invisible triggers, you will see clearly what is stopping the growth on your business. And yeah, as I said before, I'm going to walk you through my growth roadmap so you can see where you are now and what to focus on next. Just to keep you in mind, the way that I explain things, I try to make complex things easy to understand, so you won't need prior knowledge or academic knowledge on marketing or anything like that, on branding, because what I will explain you on this masterclass will be easy to understand and quick as well. So you will be able to apply immediately for the following day or whenever it's possible for you. So you don't need to worry about something that it's hard to implement instantly. And yeah, so a bit about me. My work focuses on how people perceive value, form beliefs, make decisions. As I said before, I help companies grow by applying consumer psychology to product marketing through positioning and not by implementing more marketing campaigns. A bit more about me. So I'm the author of 2 books on branding strategy. I really recommend you as well, if you have the time, to read books, because you will be exposed to more strategies. My course, even though I will give you straight away what you need, but if you want to go deeper, that's the most important way to go. I'm also founder of a behavioral science magazine, a publication in the UK. Also, just to let you know, I regularly advise B2B companies on go-to-market strategy. I deliver keynotes in the UK, workshops, and industry talks internationally as well when I have the time. As I said before, I'm based in the UK. My work has been featured in newspapers and magazines like Bloomberg Terminal, AP News, IB Times as well, International Business Times. And yeah, so I've also worked as a trusted expert for Newton X, a research network used by Fortune 500 companies. And I regularly deliver masterclasses for organizations on product marketing and positioning. Everything you will see today comes from patterns that I observe across multiple businesses, and not only from trends. And so, with that being said, let's begin. Right. The invisible face most founders miss. What happens before someone decides to buy? Right, so this is where most growth problems lie. Not in the funnel or the ads, but in how people interpret what they see the moment they land on your product, website, or brand. Before someone considers buying, their brain is already answering 3 questions automatically. This is what I said before about invisible triggers. They are hidden forces, psychological ones, that triggers decisions. So the way that we make decisions, it's empirical. It's based on experience, the way that we were raised, the experiences that we were exposed, our preferences, our beliefs, and then we make decisions. Of course, there is the elements about problems. You may have a problem with a need, and you need to cover that by buying X products from Y company. Yeah, and of course, there are decisions based on gratification. You want an instant gratification, so you want something immediately and you consume that. For example, you pass by a coffee shop and you want a coffee. That's an instant gratification, right? There are multiple elements, but what I will explain you today with this masterclass is not about instant gratification techniques. It's about a strategy to form a retention, loyalty, increase sales, conversion, improve your revenue. And yeah, so I designed a framework that took me a few years after my experience as a senior marketing manager. And this is called the PBS framework. So this stands by perception, belief, and selection. And you may think, what is this, Karina? Most founders focus only on selection. And that is the main problem. You forget about perception and belief. And this is, I'm talking about the buyer perspective, not from your perspective here. Yeah. So the moment someone clicks buy or go to your store or office to invest in your service, it's the moment that a selection happens. Yeah. But you forgot to implement a perception and belief strategy. But what actually drives that decision happens before the purchase, as I said, in phases that are largely invisible. Again, people don't buy because they are convinced by features. Have you not seen on the internet companies that they advertise their products? It's trendy, it's good, they advertise features. However, did you know that those companies, those brands could grow exponentially if they focus more on benefits, what you actually need, it's instead of benefits or specifications, because that's instant gratification. That's to cover a problem, a need that you have. But sometimes most businesses cannot offer a solution for a problem that those customers have, right? So here is where I start my framework calling is perception, belief, and selection. They buy because their perception is set, a belief is formed, and only then does selection become possible. If any of these three foundations are broken, the brain literally resists the decision. Either you have a strong brand, but no amount of traffic, advertisement, or persuasion will fix that.